Well, good, fine. And I just welcome everyone, including, in particular, the new councillors, a number of who I do recognise from years gone by, Mr Booth. Do anyone wish to record the meeting? Good, that's fine. And I need to advise you of the fire exits, and any members of the public who may be here need to be aware of the fire exits, and they are marked with green, 2 to your left and 2 to your right. And I didn't know that until 20 minutes ago, so that's pretty good. Right, apologies for absence, Dawn.
Thank you, Chairman. Just one apology, and that's from Councillor Gurney.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any declarations of interest from anybody? No? Okay. In which case then, moving on to the agenda, there's a list of my engagements on page 5. I've nothing to add to any of those as they are. So moving on to appointment of the chairman. Can I seek nominations for chairman of the council for 22-3-24? I've got Councillor Weinmark first.
Thank you, Chairman. I wanted to propose Kenneth Kelly. He did an excellent job replacing Sue Prutton as an ambassador for the council as vice chairman, and I think he would do an excellent job once again as chairman. Thank you.
Can I propose Councillor Caroline Creamy-Govan-Loo, please?
We have another proposal for Councillor Creamy-Govan-Loo. Do you have a seconder?
I'll take Councillor Davis. I saw him first. Okay. In which case, we need a vote.
For each, any other nomination?
Oh, sorry, any other nominations? Right. In which case, we need to take a vote. Can we do that by show of hands?
Do a vote in favour for
those.
Councillor Kelly first.
Those in favour of Councillor Kelly, please raise.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, Chairman.
Thank you. And those in favour of Councillor Govan-Loo?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 26, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. In which case, I will declare that Councillor Govan-Loo is elected as the new chairman of the council. Before I invite Councillor Govan-Loo up to hand over chains and take office, I will just say a few words after my 12 months in the chair, which started off interestingly, but got better as it went on. We had no meetings after the first where everybody walked out. So half the people walked out. And so it has been an absolutely unique year because obviously the year has been predominantly dictated by royal occasions. And I was very honoured to have been in this position this particular year. I hadn't really anticipated the Platinum Jubilee, but that went very well. And then unfortunately the sad passing of the Queen just after that brought all sorts of unique events, one of which was to read the proclamation of the new King, which was really probably the most poignant and interesting part of my 30 years of being a councillor. Apart from the royal year, which ended obviously with the with the coronation of the King, and I was pleased to attend a couple of events for that, to recognise that. But also, as chairman of the council, I know that the new chairman will realise this. You do meet an amazing amount of interesting people in the year, and you get some amazing, interesting places never before, like King's Lynn Mart, which I do recommend the new chairman makes an effort to go to. It's normally a cold day, but it's good. Also the Holocaust Memorial, which again is a regular invite, and I hadn't attended that before, and that really was a very moving service. And you do get to see the inside of a number of cold churches. Fortunately, when my first deputy chairman, vice chairman, Sue Putton, she was very keen on doing the church services, so she picked up most of those, which I'm quite pleased about. And I do want to just thank her in her absence for her support in the early part of the year. She really was an excellent deputy, and I knew I could rely on her. She arranged her holidays so they didn't coincide with mine, and was made sure that when I was on holiday, she was ready to attend. Even in hospital, she was attending Zoom meetings and answering her mobile phone. So I would just like to especially thank Sue for her support. I will mention my vice chairman Ken, who came in late in the day. Unfortunately, he then had an operation, so he wasn't the support that one would have hoped for the last 2 months, wherever he is. But there you are, Ken. But thanks for meeting the need at the time. The chairman's charity, Nelson's Journey. I just want to thank them. They have been active throughout the year, and I'm very pleased to say that in total we did allow for a 4,000 contribution to them after the year, which I presented to the chief exec Simon Wright last week. I'd like to just thank all the councillors who were here for my last year for making my job easy. It really was. Emma had to correct me hardly at all. She just sat by my side and did nothing. And I will, again, this is a note for the new chairman. When you are here, you can say what you like. It really,
You nearly finished, John.
So I'll just ignore Emma once again. And there are a team, is a team behind being chairman for the year, and I just need to mention all of them. There's Dawn and Linda and Emma and Tracy. You know, Tracy is really is a person who managed to get me to every event on time, which people will know my punctuality is not one of my best traits. So she did an extremely good job to get me to every event on time, in the right gear, with my chain, without my chain, and whatever was necessary. So I do especially thank Tracy, and her weekly sheet to keep you on track was very beneficial. I have got some flowers to present to her, but she isn't here tonight, so I will assume that Linda or someone will take care of those and pass them to her. I will just, it has been tradition. I've been on the council off and on. I had a little break when I got kicked out. Off and on, I've been here for 30 years. And I think there's only Tony Adams who's in the room who's done a bit longer than that. It has been tradition in the past for outgoing chairmen to present something for the council as a thanks to the council. And I do have a painting that we've got all these blank walls. I've been told we're not going to have any pictures in here, but hence I particularly thought I'd bring one which is pretty boring and will really be a challenge for them to find somewhere to put it. But I would just like to ask the chief exec, sorry, the MD. For the last 12 months, I've been calling Trevor the chief exec, and he's really the MD. So my apologies, and I would just like to thank him for his support. And if you could just take this on behalf to display somewhere. It is a Broadland scene. I picked the Broadland scene distinct from the South Norfolk scene, despite the fact I was originally from South Norfolk. So it is a pastel. It has to go somewhere in here, hopefully, or even in the chief exec's office. Sorry, MD's office, or head of environment. That was my other 10 years of being cabinet member. So take this from me, saying thanks for 30 excellent years, and on that, I think. Yeah, Trevor. Yes, all right. Oh, Phil. Do you know, I missed Phil off, and when I came in here tonight, I said, Phil, I've missed you off, and Phil has been in as long as I have. But he's not had a break. I often wish maybe he would, but he hasn't done yet. Anyway, I will stop. Invite the new chair to come forward. I think we're up to that stage, aren't we?
We are, John, yeah.
Yep. Emma's just kicked me right again.
Hang it one last time.
Do you have any photos? Oh, get my pass.
That's your past chairman.
Right, I'll slip down my pocket. Right.
Put a hand in.
That one's come off okay. This one's probably good to see. You need to be careful with it. That's 12 months. Sticking pin. Good to see. I'm okay.
Thank you very much.
That's Dawn just making sure we're okay. There we are.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching it. Do you think? Yeah, okay. That's the consort.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, my husband.
I will just add that I would normally give my, I've missed this bit out. I would normally give my wife a bunch of flowers at this time as well for her support over the last 12 months. But after 12 months of being chairman and four years of being cabinet member for Candy, she's left me. She hasn't really. But she's not in mine. So anyway, thank you much indeed. I will sit down here for 2 seconds.
Okay.
And then I'll beat a retreat through that door.
Thank you very much. I just need to read my declaration of acceptance of office. I, Caroline Karimi Govanlu, having been elected to the office of Chairwoman of Broadland District Council for 2023 to 24, declare that I will take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the code as to the conduct which is expected of members of Broadland District Council. Back to you, Trevor. Thank you.
Congratulations, Tim.
Sorry?
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I do have a speech, but it's a bit shorter than John's, so I won't go on too much. I would like to thank my fellow councillors for the opportunity to represent the council as chairwoman this year. It's lovely to see so many new faces here, as well as re-elected councillors. And I would especially like to thank the councillors who did not get elected, who served for the last 4 years. Whatever political party you represent, I hope you will agree with me, we all need to work together for the residents of Broadland who elected us. It's the start of a new term of office and hopefully exciting times ahead. Thank you. I would like to propose a vote of thanks to the retiring chairman, John Fisher. I've worked with him for many years on planning, sitting next to him, which I've enjoyed, and I do hope that he will enjoy the break now and his retirement. Are you retiring, John? Are you still at county?
I'm still at county.
You're still at county, so 2 more years at county. Yeah,
2 years.
2 years. Thank you very much for all your work.
Thank you.
We'd like to appoint the vice chairman, so could I have nominations for the vice chair of the council for the next grant?
Thank you, Chairman. And firstly, may I extend my congratulations to you on your appointment as chairwoman of Broadland Council. I would like to propose as vice chairman the Councillor Ken Kelly. I had the pleasure of nominating him to be vice chairman in place of former Councillor Sue Prutton. I do believe that he would make an excellent vice chairman. And you mentioned that we will be working together, whatever political party we are members of. I had the pleasure last night of attending the AGM of South Norfolk Council, and noted that the chairman was of the leading political party and the vice chairman is of the opposition party. So I would, in the spirit of working together in the future, have the pleasure of nominating Councillor Kelly. Thank you.
Martin, Councillor Morrell, seconded. Are there any further nominations? Councillor Booth.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Adrian Tipple.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for Adrian? That's done. Thank you. Can we first go for the first nomination? Can we have hands for Councillor Kelly, please? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, Chairman. And could we have a show of hands for Councillor Tipple, please? 5 up to this, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 25, Chairman. 25. So I declare Councillor Tipple as the Vice Chair of the Council. Congratulations. Do we have the chain of office? Ken's got it.
Ken, have you got, did you bring the,
See it, sorry. Oh, got it. Sorry, it's behind me. Apologies. Do you want to do? Yeah, sure. Okay.
Thank you. I, Adrian Tipple, have been elected to the office of Vice Chairman of Broadland District Council for 23-24. I declare that I take office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the code as to the conduct which is expected of members of Broadland District Council. Thank you very much.
Would you like to make a short speech?
Yeah, I'll make a short speech. Thank you very much for everyone in Broadland that voted for all the fantastic councillors in this room today, and also thank you very much for the people that nominated me and voted for me today. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Could I refer you next to the minutes of the council meeting on the 23rd of March 23 and ask members to indicate with a show of hands if they're happy to approve this as a true and accurate record. Can I have a show of hands, please? presume those who weren't here. Are there any matters arising from those minutes? No? Thank you. I invite the Managing Director to present the report of the Returning Officer, please.
Chairman, thank you. The report's in front of you. It merely is a report which gives the Council notice of the results of the election held on 4th May, and I would invite Council to receive that report. Thank you.
Can I have a show of hands do you want to ask a question, Councillor Nurdon?
It's just a comment I'd like to make, if I may, Chairman.
Yeah, certainly.
Thank you. It's having attended a few parish council meetings after the election, I was very pleased to hear the comments of the service that members who were elected, that the nomination process that was done by Broadland was super efficient, and they were very pleased with the service that they received when making their nominations. So I just wanted to pass that across to the team that was doing the elections, the nomination process, and say thank you very much on behalf of the parish councillors that were elected.
Thank you for that comment. Councillor Roper.
Grant, can you turn your microphone off, please?
Thank you, Chairman. I think Councillor Nurdon partly stole my thunder there, but I wanted to, speak for all councillors when expressing our thanks to all of the staff who worked on the day of the elections at the polling stations, all of the staff at the count, and all of the elections teams who worked not just on the day but for many weeks leading up to the event to make it go smoothly. And just one small assurance that the written record will have Councillor Orber, not Councillor Uber, as is written in your report, which I'm sure will be corrected.
I can provide you with that immediate assurance.
But
yes.
thank you for everybody's work.
Thank you. Councillor Mancini-Boyle, you had your hand up.
Sorry, I'm further down. I need to go further down before I put my hand up.
All right. Councillor Kelly, you had your hand up as well.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. One to Trevor. There's been a lot of controversy about the voting ID. Can you give us a reflection of how Broadland got on with this, in your opinion, of whether it was successful or how many people were turned away, please? Thank you.
Chairman, if I might.
Yes,
Yeah,
certainly.
yeah. The results of the number of people who turned away and who came back, or indeed didn't come back, are published. I don't have those to hand, but more than happy to share them with you and other councillors after the meeting. But they are published already. In a general sense, actually, the number of people, while anybody who is turned away is, of course, an issue and a challenge, that the message was well received. The conduct in the polling stations was exemplary throughout the day, and anybody who was asked to go and come back with their ID was polite and courteous. So I would suggest our experience in terms of delivering the elections was the message was largely received, and people complied with it. It was very small numbers of people who arrived without appropriate ID, and subsequently even smaller who didn't come back.
Councillor Hempsall, please.
Thank you, and congratulations, Madam Chair, on your appointment to the Council. I wonder if the Managing Director could explain, or enlighten me, why I had a police person visit from Felixstowe in Suffolk in Acle. It wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting my local policeman from Broadland, but instead I got a visit from both Broadland and Felixstowe. So I wonder if you could please explain what happened.
Is this to do with the elections, Councillor Hempsall?
It most certainly is. This was at the polling station in Acle. Thank you.
Chairman, I'll have to take that offline and absolutely happily look into that after Council. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a recommendation to note the persons elected as district councillors on the 4th of May 23, as set out in Appendix A. Could you have a show of hands if you are happy to note the report, please? Yeah. Thank you very much. I have one announcement to make under this section. I would like to name my charity for the year. It's two charities which are very close to my heart. One is the Hamlet Children's Centre in Norwich and the children's section of Vision Norfolk. Thank you. Managing Director, do you have any announcements to make?
No, thank you, Chairman.
Okay. I would like to ask for nominations for the position of leader of the council for 23-24. Councillor Merrill.
Thank you. I would like to propose Councillor Fran Weimer, the leader. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have a seconder? Thank you. Councillor Brennan. Thank you, Councillor Brennan. Do we have any other nominations? Councillor Hobley.
I would like to nominate Sue Holland.
Thank you. And do you have a seconder?
I'd like to
Thank you,
second
Councillor
and look forward to working partnership.
Thank you. Can we have a show of hands for Councillor Fran Weimark, please? 20, Chairman. And can we have a show of hands for Councillor Holland, please? Chairman. 25. Oh, 26.
Chairman didn't vote.
No, I didn't vote.
Chairman didn't
No, I didn't vote.
vote.
25. Chairman didn't vote. Okay.
Chairman didn't vote.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Stay neutral. I would like to invite Councillor Holland to the table, please. Congratulations, Councillor Holland. Thank you very much. I would invite you to announce the names and designations of Cabinet members, please.
Thank you. I would just like to say a few words before I talk about the Cabinet members. Thank you all for those people who voted for me, and thank you all councillors for being here and for being part of representing your area in Broadland. It is an honour and a privilege to have been elected as leader of this council to serve Broadland, and I welcome all new members, and I'm pleased to rejoin with those members who have been elected once more. The recent elections have brought changes to our representation across the district, and we are all, I'm sure, fully conscious of the need to carry out our responsibilities with care, integrity and grace. It has been a pleasure to form a partnership agreement with our Labour and Green groups to form a new administration, and we will be working together to review our policies, processes and structures to deliver on the commitments that we have made in our respective manifestos. Reviewing to ensure consistently improving our service provision, always underpinned by efficient and cost-effective ways of working. We will be an open partnership, working with all councillors to achieve the best possible support for residents and communities across Broadland, where all members are able to contribute and understand the basis of future decision making. We know there are both challenges and opportunities. The cost of living crisis has made the lives of many far more precarious in so many ways, and our challenge is to forge opportunities as a member-led council to build on the support we offer, from housing and access to health service, to consistently acknowledge and pay due regard to our local, national and global environment. As a member-led council, we will build and develop new ways of working and new opportunities to truly ensure community at heart, working together to be the best for Broadland. It is we, the members, who are elected to represent our residents and our communities, and it is we, the members, who should and will truly put our people first. And I have great pleasure in announcing the members of my cabinet. Councillor Natasha Hartley will be the Deputy Leader and Portfolio Holder for Communities and Housing. Councillor Jan Davis will be the Portfolio Holder for Environmental Excellence, and I don't expect that will be a surprise to anybody. Councillor Dan Roper will be Organisational Development and Transformation. Councillor Steve Riley will work on finance. Councillor Martin Booth will be Economic Development, and Councillor Stuart Beadle will be Planning. We look forward to working together and with all councillors to ensure we are best for Broadland in putting people first and truly having our community at heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Holland. Next item is the Monitoring Officer report. I would refer members to the report which is on page 2 of your late papers. And I would ask the leader to present the report and propose the recommendations.
I've lost it. Looking at. Bear with me, I've lost my paper now. Thank you, which bit is it? Oh, right. Thank you. So it's my privilege to present the Monitoring Officer report, which I think outlines all the appointments and the council places. I'm hoping that everybody will be happy to approve that committee structure and the appointments that are contained therein.
Thank you. Could I have a seconder? Oh, no?
Second. Councillor Wright is a second.
Councillor Wright, a second. Councillor Mancini-Boyle.
Yes, sorry. I wondered if you could just explain the rationale and the change in the finance portfolio. Two items that previously were in finance, both council tax benefit and housing benefit, has now been moved into another portfolio. I was just curious why.
I think I can say that I was not necessarily expecting them to have been moved. I think if they have been, that is not the intention. What we have said is that we will be looking to review the portfolios and to make sure that they fit with the names that they're given, and maybe even potentially change some of those names. But as I understood it, the only change we had made was to revert back to the 7 portfolio holders, which would also take planning into its own department again. So is that correct?
Yeah, thank you. So in terms of the leader is correct. There are no intended changes to be made to where service areas sit. This area that you refer to is always something that's straddled across 2 portfolios. So pulling the services together, I simply put into that one and not the finance one, and it always did straddle across the 2. However, as you said, I know you're going to review, so we can look at that going forward. But there was no intention met in terms of that.
Yes, Steve, you need to put your mic on, please.
Oh, sorry. I think what's being said here, truly, is that it is as it was, but it will be reviewed. So I agree with what the monitoring officer has said.
Councillor Wymark.
Thank you, Chairman. First of all, can I congratulate Chairman and the leader on their elevation?
Thank you.
And I hope you can have a good year. But I just wanted to ask a question. I've not been able to talk directly to the leader about this. So I would like to propose a change on page 13 it is, on the overview and scrutiny. Traditionally, we have had the opposition have been the chairman for overview and scrutiny. I know that wasn't the case in the last year, but it was actually offered to opposition members who rejected it. So I would like to ask that, or propose, make a formal proposal that this is actually, the chairmanship is offered to Peter Ballman, and obviously there is someone else as vice chairman. So that was my proposal for a change there. Thank you.
Do you have a seconder for that, Councillor Wymark? Councillor Merrill? Do you wish to speak now or reserve the right?
I reserve the right.
Okay. Councillor Roper.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to speak on that amendment, and I'm afraid I'm going to speak against that amendment on this occasion. And I think what I can do is firstly give some assurance that Councillor Holland has said that there will be some reviews quite soon, both in terms of looking at the structure of the Cabinet and the committees. And one bottom line on that is that nothing will take away from the Overview and Scrutiny Committee. We fully value the Overview and Scrutiny Committee and the role it does, and if anything, we want to elevate it in the next year. With regard to the chairmanship, we're in the unique situation of having a new administration. The new administration needs to do a good level of due diligence on what it is inheriting at this stage across a whole range of service areas. So basically you can judge us in 4 years' time because we've set the correct baseline at the outset. And the logic follows that in order to conduct that very important work, that is not appropriate to have as the chair a member who was within the previous administration. And for that reason, we are promoting the very excellent former councillor Nick Starling to be the chair of Overview and Scrutiny, who I think will be incredibly rigorous and will be an excellent chairman of the committee for the next year.
Councillor Wymark, would you like to respond?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I do reject that statement. I do think that scrutiny could be undertaken by someone from the previous administration. I don't see why that would be a block. I think the Overview and Scrutiny role is a very important one. And as I say, I totally reject what the councillor has just said. I don't think that's in the spirit of collaboration or working together. And as he said, so if on that basis, if I suggested someone else who wasn't in the previous administration, then that would be accepted. Is that the suggestion there? Is that what you want me to do? Thank you.
Councillor Hampsall, would you like to speak?
Thank you. I guess I suppose somebody was going to respond to Councillor Wymark. Yes, again, congratulations, Sue, on your elevation to leader. I've been a councillor, this is my 13th, I'm moving into my 13th year as a councillor here at Broadland, and for 11 out of the 12 years that I had been a councillor, a leading member of the opposition chaired the scrutiny committee, and I had a great honour to serve on that scrutiny committee for very many years. And it was actually really helpful, even for the administration that was, to have a challenge, to have a constructive challenge, which didn't just carry on, well, it wasn't just in scrutiny itself, but then carried on through the meeting of the Cabinet, where the points that the scrutiny committee raised were carried through. So I'm just a bit perplexed because, you know, this role was championed not just by the administration at the time, but the opposition as well, and it just really formed a good, strong working relationship. So, as I said, I'm a bit confused and perplexed why that's not being carried through. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Starling, please.
Just for a point of clarity, Councillor Wymark said it was offered to a member of the opposition. He's saying that the lead opposition group should be having that. Which member of the opposition was offered, which party was offered that last year? For clarity, so that we understand which party you offered it to when you removed it from the Liberal Democrats. Because actually at parish council meetings, 2 members of your group could not explain the decision to take it away from the Liberal Democrats last year, could not justify it, said they wouldn't have supported it, but actually now, suddenly, there's a change of heart. I'm almost tempted to say in this new room, can we have an irony klaxon that could go off every time we get an ironic decision or a suggestion from the opposition that suggests we should do all the things that they opposed doing when they were sat at the front. So, you know, it's just, I'd be interested to know which member of the Liberal Democrats you offered it to, or whether it was offered to Liberal Democrats, because you tried to imply that that was the case.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to? You have your say later. Anybody else for the debate, please? Councillor Riley.
Well, as I think most of the old members here, previous members are aware, I was a long-term chair of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee, put in many hours, hundreds of hours of, I believe, trying to go about that job in a fair and equitable way. And picking up on points that have been made so far from around the room, the situation is that there was a good protocol in place. It's not contained within the Constitution. We went through that last year. It's not written in our Constitution that a member of the opposition group should have the chair of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee, and therefore it lays with the controlling group leader of the council to appoint. So what's happened in the past is that the leader has decided who appoints all committees and appoints all cabinet members to also appoint the chair of ONS. And the leader previously, last year, decided to change the protocol. It's not in the Constitution, and actually start to offer it to individuals from within groups, not the principle of the opposition, which is now the proposal that we have in front of us. So that was changed last year by the leader of this council, and obviously, I guess, supported by the group or members within that group. So that has now changed from last year. That protocol is now broken from last year. And now we are in a situation which we are simply mirroring what has occurred, whereas we have offered, the leader has offered, the vice chair to the Conservative group, which was offered to the Lib Dems last year, and I was the vice chair. I had been the chair in the previous year, and it's exactly the same principle. So it's within the Constitution, it's within our right. We're simply mirroring what happened and established by the leader of the council last year, and I think really the debate needs to move to a conclusion, Chair.
I had Councillor Vincent's hand up, so if you'd like to speak, Councillor.
Thank you, and congratulations on your appointment. I wish you success in the year ahead. I'd just like to echo the point that Councillor Riley just made, that it's good protocol to have the opposition lead or chair the Overview and Scrutiny Committee, and also repeat what's already been said, that last year was an exception. It was the first year it had been done in the way it was. Previously, it was chaired by a member of the opposition. And to echo what the leader has said, that it's a new term, it's an opportunity to work collaboratively. If I can get my word out, I can never say that. So I would urge you just to reflect on that and perhaps can reconsider the proposal that's been put forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody, any further debate? So, yeah.
Yes, I'd just like to make a final point, really. It was very disappointing last year, actually, when we'd had what we felt was a very robust look at Overview and Scrutiny and had done a very good job. And I would remind everybody that Overview and Scrutiny is not intended to be political. Everybody is supposed to be on Overview and Scrutiny in a totally apolitical way. I think I can recommend quite heartily Councillor Starling, as somebody who has been a member of the council before, but has not been a member of the council in the last few years, and I'm sure will bring due rigour to everything that goes through this council. So I have every confidence that he will carefully look at, along with the rest of his members of his committee, anything that is brought to him. I think the fact that we have also followed last year's protocol and gone with a member of the Conservative Party as a vice chair, I think demonstrates that we are attempting to follow the protocol that was set last year. Now that may change again, who knows? But for this year, I am very confident that Councillor Starling and any member who comes onto that Overview and Scrutiny Committee will treat that committee with the seriousness and the rigour that it deserves. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Holland. Councillor Murrell, would you like to respond? Councillor Morrell, would you like to respond, please?
Yes, I'd listen to the comments and that. I mean, I'd just like to reiterate the point that Councillor Waymark made, that the chairmanship of Overview and Scrutiny was offered to the opposition party, who felt that they didn't have enough experience at that time to take it on. And that's why it was given back into our group. And I know there was a robust argument around that last year. And I would still concur with Councillor Waymark that it should go across to the leader of the opposition. Thank you.
Councillor Waymark.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I think it's unfortunate, as I say, we're supposedly starting a new era of collaboration, and you're starting off with no collaboration, really. But I think it is unfortunate that we are where we are, and it's unfortunate what happened last year, perhaps. But as Councillor Morrell says, this was actually offered, the chairmanship was offered to an opposition group. I mean, I'm looking at them now, and they rejected it. So they did reject it. You can laugh, Councillor, but they were offered this and they rejected it. So I think it would be good to start afresh and give the chairmanship to Peter Borman, but it feels as if that's not going to be the case. So I'm disappointed, but not surprised. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Waymark. So we're going to have a vote on the amendment as proposed by Councillor Waymark and seconded by Councillor Morrell. All those in favour of Councillor Waymark's amendment, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, Chairman. And all those against the amendment, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, Chairman. Thank you. The amendment is defeated. I would ask if you are happy to take the recommendations en bloc, please. Is everybody happy to do that?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. So, right. So, yes, you have the recommendations before you. So, if I could ask you to vote for the recommendations, please. All those in favour of 4. 25, Chairman. 25. And those against? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, Chairman. And do we have any abstaining? No? Thank you. I would like to refer you to the appointments for outside organisations, which is on page 24 and also on page 15 of the late papers, which includes named nominations for each organisation. Could I ask the leader to introduce the item, please?
Yes, thank you. There are a couple of amendments to the names that have been put on the list for you, which I'd like to just introduce as additionals here. So under the liaison for His Majesty's Prison Bureau, the 2 councillors whose wards adjoin are Councillor Mark Goodman and Councillor Joe Coppleston. The other member will actually be Councillor Shane Ward. So that's an amendment to that.
Thank you.
And there are 2 additions, so that we would like to offer Councillor Catchpole has offered to be the representative on the Norfolk Rivers Internal Drainage Board and will be the substitute for the Norfolk Police and Crime Panel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could I have a seconder for that, please? Steve Riley? Yep. Thank you. Does anyone have any comments? Councillor Mancini-Boyle.
Yes, thank you. I was just curious regarding MP law. Legal comes under the finance portfolio. I just wondered why Councillor Beadle is representing MP Law. Thank you.
Councillor Holland?
There are two reasons. One of them is that Councillor Riley has already got quite a lot on his plate for the forthcoming year, as it stands at the moment. The second thing is that Councillor Riley is a county councillor, and that may impact on his behaviour with the NP Law Board, or at least perceived to be. So it was felt that Councillor Beadle would be a more appropriate representative for that.
Thank you. Councillor Wymart.
Thank you, Chairman. I was asked a late notice really around the internal drainage boards, and obviously the leader has just put forward some changes there. I was going to ask if we could consider some further changes really with the Broad's internal drainage board. There's 5 representatives on there, which currently from Conservative group here, there's Councillor Kelly, Brennan and Johnson. Ideally, I'd like that to be Councillor Nerdon, Brennan and Copleston. And with the Norfolk Rivers, I thought there were going to be 2 spaces here. Ideally, I'd like Councillor Kelly and Councillor Brennan to be representatives as they cover these areas, and obviously leave Waveney as it is for Grant Nerdon. Councillor Nerdon. The other thing I wanted to ask is around the Norfolk Records Office, because the Norfolk Records Office, or Records Committee, shall I say, Councillor Nerdon has extensive knowledge in this area, a great deal of experience as someone who was previously out there trying to find people. So I would like it if he could be considered as the representative, or if not, as the substitute. And another thing, you've only got on here, you've got the Youth Advisory Board. We haven't got any members champions apart from Jess Royal there as member champion for young people. I would like to propose Councillor Kelly, who's done an excellent job as the Armed Forces champion. He said, you know, he's got a lot of work, a lot of connections there, and he would very much like to continue that, if that's possible. Thank you.
Councillor Wymart, the Armed Forces champion is a separate thing, so we'll bring that to a further council meeting? It's not an outside body. Okay, thank you. Councillor Holland, would you like to respond to those changes?
Thank you. Yes, I think as it stands, I'm quite happy to accept the additions, and I think that perhaps the Norfolk Record Office, or the Norfolk Records Committee, if Councillor Nerdon would like to be the substitute, I'd be perfectly happy to accept that also. Thank you.
Thank you. Did we have a seconder for that? Councillor Riley. Councillor Riley was second. Anybody else wish to speak on this? No? Thank you. I would like to invite members to vote for the outside organisations. Those in favour, please. Anybody against? No? Anybody abstaining? Okay, thank you. So that has been approved. Thank you very much for that. Going on to the scheme of delegation, I refer members to the agenda page 3 and the need to approve the scheme delegation in accordance with the Constitution. There's a link, I think, on the agenda for that. Everybody's looked at it. Could I invite a proposer to approve the scheme? Councillor Clancy? Oh, you wish to speak?
Yes,
You can't speak yet, I don't think.
Oh, sorry.
Need a proposer and seconder first. Councillor Roper, propose. We'd have a seconder, please. Councillor Riley. Councillor Clancy, you may now speak.
Thank you. Chairman,
I would like to propose an amendment in relation to the time and task panels, that to make the time and task panels work, that there can be substitutes on those, and specifically as relation to time and task panels set up by the overview and scrutiny, that any substitute can be drawn from overview and scrutiny of any party. I think this is just a pragmatic bit of housekeeping, not anything with any political undertones, overtones or anything else, in so much as the time and task panels have, from time to time, had difficulty working because of not quorum within the meetings. So I would like to propose an amendment that time and task panels can have substitutes by arrangement with the chairman, and the overview and scrutiny committee can have any substitute on panels appointed by the overview and scrutiny committee from members of the overview and scrutiny committee. I think this is more just a tidying up exercise. I don't think there's anything, there's no political intrigue or anything related to it. It will just make the council more functional. It would surely help the portfolio holders to deliver if these panels are set up, and to make sure that they work as they should work. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think, I'm not sure, I'm not aware of where we've ever had a problem with any of these panels. There may be examples. I think one thing I would say is that we've already said we will be looking at various elements of the constitution, the policy and the committees and panels. And it may be, Councillor Clancy, that we could actually include that as part of the process that we look at. I'm not inclined to think at this point in time we should actually just go for a change. So my feeling would be we would take that on board as part of any review that we do as we go forward. I hope you understand that that would be a reasonable thing to do.
I've got Councillor Morrell first.
On a point of order, what item are we on, Madam Chair?
13.
Because I thought we were still on item number 13.
Delegation. Delegation.
Yeah, we are. You're very correct, Councillor O'Piro. We've skipped an item. We will carry on scheme of delegation, and we will go back to, carry on scheme of substitution, and then we'll go back to scheme of delegation. I'm not doing a very good job for you this evening, am I, Chair?
No.
No.
I was talking about this, so I don't know why.
Yeah, so I think Councillor Clancy's talking about the scheme of substitutes.
Yeah.
So we can either carry on with that one and go back to there, or we can do the scheme of delegation. It's entirely up to you, Chair.
Carry on with this one.
Carry on with scheme of substitutes. I will have a refresh and give you better service going forward. I do apologise.
Thank you. Okay, Councillor Morrell, you want to say something?
Yes, I would like to concur with Councillor Clancy, and I support his motion to allow the substitutes on the time task panels. I reserve the right to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Riley.
Yeah, I think I'm correct in this, but I first became chair of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee 10 years ago, and certainly in my time, I was on every single time and task. We used to have a great many more time and task panels we've had in the last 4 years, a lot more. I was in here every single, not in this building, but another building, virtually every single week on one meeting or another. And I don't recall us ever having a problem in terms of requiring substitutes that we didn't have quorum. We never on one occasion did not have a quorum. However, I think what the leader is saying is absolutely correct, and taking on board what Councillor Clancy has said, we can actually review it. We'll review it, and that would be one step in the right direction. But let's review it with proper examination. Is there a problem? Isn't there? As we go forward, rather than, if that's acceptable, would we need a vote on this?
Okay.
Can you confirm that he's withdrawing the amendment?
Are you withdrawing the amendment, please? Thank you, Councillor. Right. Let's go back to it. I was talking about this.
Yeah, we'll carry on with this one. So any other comments on the scheme of substitution?
Right, so any other comments on the scheme of substitution, please? Oh, Councillor Hempsall, you put your hand up.
I did, thank you, Madam Chair. I think I take on board what the leader has said. However, I do urge her to consider this matter at her earliest convenience, because there are many of us in this chamber who have paying jobs as well as being appointed councillors. And I think in terms of, flexibility and being able to continue to function as a council and make those time and task panels and any other committees, work properly with a full discussion, with a full room and enough people around the table to come to meaningful conclusions, I think that's probably a good outcome for this council.
Okay, thank you for your comments. I think we'll close this matter now and go to the recommendation.
Chairman, just for housekeeping, shall I formally move that item so that somebody has actually moved and seconded it before we,
Moved and seconded.
before we
You're
do it?
absolutely
Thank you.
correct, Councillor Roper. Okay. Right, the recommendation is to adopt a scheme of substitution as detailed in paragraph 4 of the report for the duration of the council. We will be looking at this again, yes? Yeah. Could I ask members to vote for the scheme of substitution, please? Chairman. And those against, please. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, Chairman. Okay, thank you. Any abstentions? No, thank you. We're going to go back to scheme. Right, we're going to go back to scheme of delegation. I think we've had comments on that, haven't we? Can I have a show of hands if to announce if the scheme is duly approved, please? Those in favour. Do you want me to do a formal count, Chairman? I think there's a majority, isn't it? I'll just do a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, Chairman. Is that a majority? That's a majority, thank you. Item 15, council meetings for 2023 to 24. You have in your agenda at page 3 the need to approve dates for the council meetings. Can I have a proposer for those dates, please? Councillor Roper and a seconder. Councillor Booth, thank you. Has anybody got any comments about the dates of the meetings for the councils? Thank you. Yes, certainly.
I think there is one comment I'd like to make, and that is that a couple of the meetings we have moved to the evening, precisely as Councillor Hempsall has pointed out. There are a lot of people in this room, new members, who do work during the day, and so for some changes needed to be made in order to be sure that, as Councillor Hempsall has rightly said, that we have a full complement of people able to discuss those things and conduct council business, and that is why we have chosen to change those timings to accommodate many new members who are actually in full-time work. So I hope that people will accept that as a perfectly valid reason for making those changes as we go forward. Thank you.
Thank you. We do not have any questions for the public, and there was no request from the public to speak. Go on to the Overview and Scrutiny Committee. Refer members to the annual report of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee, page 34. Could I ask Councillor Murrell to present the report, please, and proposal?
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to present the report of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee as set out on pages 34 to 51.
Thank you. Do you have a seconder, please? Steve Riley, thank you. Can I have a show of hands for the report to be noted, please? Yeah. Thank you very much. Majority.
Apologies for butting in. Were we not supposed to vote on the dates of the meetings? And
it's a general report to just note it.
So it says to approve.
It's just yeah, it's just a note, Councillor Hempsall. would like to refer you next to the recommendations from Cabinet meeting on the 18th of April. I understand the link wasn't working on the agenda, is that right? So you should have had a paper copy of that tonight. I would like to invite Councillor Hartley to propose the scheme is endorsed. Is that right?
Yeah, health and wellbeing strategy.
Health and wellbeing strategy.
Thank you, Chair. As this was published before I was in position, I don't think it's appropriate for me to present this report, so I will be deferring to the Director for People and Communities, Jamie Sutterby, to read that out. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Hartley. Thank you, Chairwoman, and congratulations on your appointment. Good evening, councillors. For those I haven't met yet, my name is Jamie Sutterby, one of the directors, and I have the brief of People and Communities. So the report in front of you for your consideration is a health and wellbeing strategy for the locality, the district of Broadland. Its construction came via our health and wellbeing partnership, a relatively new addition over the past year. And has taken consideration of the insight of a number of different agencies, both public sector and voluntary sector, along with a good deal of evidence from public health colleagues, but also Norfolk Insight. The intention of the document is to help us understand some of the major issues that affect the health and well-being of our population, and give us really a handrail for us as a district council and us working with a multitude of partners for how we can best affect those health and wellbeing issues. Councillors will note that the strategy lays out three predominant areas for our focus and attention. The first of those is mental health and wellbeing. The second is access and prevention. The third is resilience and healthy communities. And within each of those three areas, there are a number of different problem statements, if you will, all born out of that data I mentioned earlier, but also some action statements to give some intention to the things that we perhaps need to focus on going forwards. The intention going forwards and subject to your consideration will be to use the Health and Wellbeing Partnership and the numerous partners that sit around that table to try and take on and affect those issues. And of course, councillors will note that many of the issues that affect our residents' health and wellbeing are issues that as a district council in isolation, we can only have a limited impact. So as a vehicle working with our partners, and having a strategy that's endorsed and adopted by those partners leaves us in a really strong place in terms of our ability to affect and do the best we can for our residents. Councillor Hartley, I hope that covers the brief, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Councillor Hartley.
Yeah, thank you for that, Jamie. I'd also think it'd be courteous to offer our previous portfolio holder, Fran, the opportunity to make any comments, seeing as he was in post when this was written. So over to you, Fran.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Councillor Hartley. As the Director has said, I mean, I'm very, very happy to endorse the health and wellbeing strategy. I think it was a great deal of work to co-produce this with our multi-agency partners. There was a great deal of work both with all our partners, and I include our partners in South Norfolk as well. We did a lot of joint workshops. There was a lot of joint working here to actually produce this, and I think that's the only way moving forward that we're actually going to really bring into play a prevention strategy going forward. And this is about prevention. It's always got to be about prevention and building upon what we've got. As I say, you know, the Health and Wellbeing Partnership and the officers, a lot of the officers, some who are no longer with the council, played a major part in putting this together, and I'd like to thank them too. So an enormous amount of work went into this, and it is a living document. It is a living document as the Health and Wellbeing Partnership grows. I've said this many times, and I believe it 100%. The Health and Wellbeing Partnership is a huge opportunity for us to change the way we view things, the way we work with our residents, and give them the services they need. We actually recognise at a very local level what our residents need. So I think this is a really excellent document, and I would really sort of endorse it for the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Weinmark, and I'd like to thank everyone who worked on this report. Thank you. Yeah. Can I have a proposer for the recommendation, which is to endorse the Health and Wellbeing Strategy as a partner organisation in the Broadland Health and Wellbeing Partnership? Councillor Weinmark, can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Thomas. If anybody has got any more comments on this proposal? No? Okay, I would like to ask members to vote for this proposal. All those in favour, please. Yep, that's carried. Thank you very much. We have no reports from outside organisations. Oh, Councillor Nurden, do you want to say something?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. On the point of order that was raised by Councillor Hempsall earlier regarding the agenda item number 15, it says to approve. That's what the agenda says, to approve the following dates. Now, those dates, I agree, are on the schedule that we were given on page 38 of our pack. However, Councillor Holland did refer to changes in the time that the meetings would start. So on the programme of meetings that is on the website, it says that those are 7 p.m. Is Councillor Holland suggesting a change to the time of 7 p.m. or not? Just to clarify for that point.
Councillor Holland, do you want to clarify that?
Yes, I'm sorry, I misled you. I do apologise. What I was pointing out was that they used to be during the daytime, and what I'm saying to you is this is why we've moved into the evening, just to accommodate the point of view that Councillor Hempsall raised, which I think is really, really valid. There are a lot of people, a lot of new members here, and a lot of younger members as well who are working. So that was the reason it was moved, and it was merely just to let everybody know the reasoning behind that. So thank you, Councillor Nurden. I'm sorry if I've misled everybody.
Councillor Nurden, would you like clarification on your other point? I can refer you to the monitoring officer.
Sorry?
Would you like clarification on your other point?
No, that was fine. I was just seeking clarity on whether there was a change in the time.
Thank you. Okay, shall we carry on? There is no reports from outside organisations or member champions. There are no questions from members, and there are no motions for this meeting. Councillor Leggett.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. It's probably me, but I found it very difficult to hear. I mean, I used to complain about the microphones.
Councillor Leggett, can we just close the meeting and then we'll carry on with your...
I can't hear what you're saying.
Can we just close the meeting and then we'll carry on with the discussion? Thank you. I would like to thank everyone for bearing with me for my first meeting. It's quite nerve-wracking sitting up here and having you all facing me. I shall get used to it. Thank you very much. I declare the meeting finished.